What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of a gaming podcast, episode 43. We got some, all right, Steve of Concert of Michaela. What's going on here? Michaela?
Consort of Mikola is how I want everyone to call me now. No, I'm doing really well. I'm happy to be back on the show, but I was saying to you, Marcel, the brain rot of Elden Ring has just been all consuming. That's all I've been thinking about now. So I thought it was timely.
So are you playing the game out of, I know we were talking about it a little bit, but for everyone who wants to listen, are you playing the game without the patch? You're like, nah, I want original mode.
Oh no! So I'm not raw dogging Elden Ring like some people out there are. I have the game hooked up to the internet. I'm still getting the patches, just like Miyazaki wanted. I'm playing the Miyazaki cut of Elden Ring, Shadow of the.
Oh, so you're not actually playing then journalist mode. We're pre-patch, so I get it. It's fine.
Right? Yeah. No, of course not.
No, that was the whole. Anyway, never mind. Explain the joke just makes it not funny. That's exactly.
Let them figure it out, or it might be too hard. What we're talking.
It might be too hard. That's right. There you go. Thank you, Marcel. You saved it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And then we got a tired Sammy. Sammy, how's it going?
It's good. Long drive this weekend, so probably 20 hours there and back between like the last 72-ish hours.
Crazy.
Yeah, but I got to hang out with people, got to see some family. I did get a freaking scar. Well, hopefully not a scar, but I had a little wound on my nose. I was looking like Cooper Howard from fucking Fallout like all weekend. It was terrible. The ghoul.
Oh no.
Horrendous. But I have lots of coffee. Oh, actually, in my Dungeons and Disabled.
That actually looks pretty good. I haven't seen it.
Sponsored by Dungeons and Disabled.
Oh, I love that. Oh, it actually looked really okay. Good. I was worried about it because I didn't get a sample of it, so I didn't know what it looked like before I
it's really good quality. I love it, and this is going to keep me very awake this whole episode. So thanks.
Now, how does it deal with temperature? Does it retain hot temperatures?
I haven't had any issues so far. I put in the microwave countless times. The quality, amazing.
Microwave safe. That's good to know. Yeah.
What about the dishwasher?
Right. Like,
I understand it's dishwasher safe too. I think too. So
I don't have a dishwasher. I'm the dishwasher.
Okay.
But
so I think it is dishwasher safe
in my
too. So I think you should be right.
It's been
you go find a friend right now, carry it over. Be like, hey, can you do this from just one cup right now? Just Steve, what's going on?
Doing okay. It's been a rough couple of weeks, since coming back for Summer Game Fest. I think I probably should just never have left. But I'm doing okay.
I'm weirdly still like recovering from Summer Game Fest as well. Like I don't know what it is, but it's just taken me a while to like get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, because everything was just like leading up to it. You're just all planning everything for it. You're kind of dropping everything, and then once you come back, it's like. Okay, now
it was like somebody just like let go of the balloon, And just, like all the air is deflated.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm just trying to get back in the swing of things again, and I'm like, okay, well, this is
because it's kind of funny that like you have all these meetings, you're rushing, you're like, okay, I can finally relax, but then you get back home, they're like, yeah, so embargo's up tomorrow, and be like, bro, I just landed. What are you talking about?
Right?
Yeah.
What are you
exactly
right now? Caboose, how about you, my man?
I'm good. Just kind of reiterating what I was saying, like still recovering from Summer Game Fest. But you know what? Like the summer's still going. We got Gamescom on the horizon. That's hopefully going to be pretty exciting. And I'm still crossing my fingers for a PlayStation showcase before the end of the year. Okay.
Really?
I'm on
the end of the year.
Still, I'm on the copium that we're getting Spider-Man DLC this year.
I would be willing to bet September.
I think that's a safe bet to make.
Yeah.
It's a safe bet as well. Yeah.
Either that or around Gamescom if PlayStation wants to do something around that, which they haven't done in the past.
Will DLC come before the PC port?
Of Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm on the copium. I still think Spider-Man 2 DLC is this year. Okay. My theory is if we are getting a showcase in September, they'll reveal it and it'll be out like the DLC will be out in a week. Kind of similar to what they did with Valhalla for God of War Ragnarok last year.
Oh.
Just like, here's the trailer. Oh, also you can play it next week,
Also, or maybe they want to get spicy and bundle it with a PC port. You know, just
I would
like
maybe
that.
the PC
No,
port will
no.
maybe PC
Oh,
port
okay.
next fall. Like,
that.
here's your DLC for PlayStation, but you get it on fall.
Yeah.
We'll
I
see.
don't know. We'll
Here's
see.
hoping.
I know. Here's hoping. But yeah, yesterday Capcom. You know, it's interesting. Like all these all these events happen, and you're like, why didn't you just show us at Summer Game Fest? You were just there. But then they're like,
just there.
Those ad prices.
what was that?
Those ad prices.
Oh, the
Yeah.
ad price. Oh, sorry. I heard someone's gonna say just like Price is Right. I'm like, what? Price is Right. Yeah, I like Price is Right. Yeah. But yeah, Capcom Next. They showed up, and like it's interesting. A lot of people just thought it was gonna be let's be like something little, like it was a little bit, like a little, maybe a lot, not at the level of Nintendo Direct or anything like that. But there was some good little nuggets in here. But of course, they showed off the Path of Goddess game, which they made the right move. I feel like this is a game that people need to play the demo before trying it out. I know we had the chance to try it out at Summer Game Fest. So this way, it's better for you to judge it, to see how the game runs and everything. That demo is available right now. And then they move on to Dead Rising. What was it? DR. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Not a remake, but it could be.
Yes.
But it's not. What? And
Just a remaster.
It's a remaster, and it's running off the RE engine. And I remember like Dead Rising was like the one thing about that game was that it was so impressive how there's so many zombies on the screen. I remember that was like the big thing people were always talking about here.
Yeah,
so
it was like the swarm mechanics was
the whole
big
whole
thing.
thing.
yeah, like it's like look, there's hundreds of them. It's crazy. So I think it's like it's interesting that they're going back to this game right here. Maybe there's another one coming up. But any thoughts about this game?
I think you're spot on with that. To me, especially with bringing in a new voice actor for Frank West, going back to the original, which I think by and large everyone kind of loves over 2 and 3. There's a special reason why you'd go back to the tank and go back to the first one, reestablish who Frank West is with this new voice actor, in the hopes of maybe it's a sequel, maybe it's kind of this reimagined sequel, something like they're kind of doing with like Resident Evil and stuff like that. I don't really know, but I think it's a great surprise. No one really understood, like no one, like this didn't leak at all, nothing like that. It was just,
I'm sure, yeah.
Here we go, and here's Frank West back and everything. I was like, holy hell, like this is bringing me back all the way to the mid 2000s, the golden era of the Xbox 360. And yeah, to your point, Marcel, like the zombies were great because there were so many of them, but then also just the abundance of items, whether it's wacky or just like zany, the fact that you could put on like a helmet or like get a katana out of one of the stores and stuff like that. Like, to me, Dead Space or Dead Rising has such a spot in that era of gaming because it's arcadey. It was kind of revolutionary for what it is, but it's quaint nowadays. So I do love the approach of, hey, we're going to go back to the well, reintroduce this game, but then maybe do something new and maybe bring it back to like contemporary times, have it run on the RE engine, do something bigger, better. Like, could you imagine a Dead Rising that is almost like World War Z, where it's like literal swarms, like
exactly. If we're looking back at the 360 era, they have all these zombies on screen at once. Like, look how much the technology in terms of these consoles have advanced since then, and how much
18
more
years ago. That's wild.
Yeah, I looked at the date and it made me really sad. And I'm like, I feel like it was yesterday.
But okay, I will say, don't disrespect Dead Rising 2, man. I freaking loved Dead Rising 2. Frank West is obviously he's the most iconic of the protagonists from that franchise, no doubt. But for me, like, there's a special place in my heart for Dead Rising 2, especially for like when you're combining the weapons. Like, everyone was putting the boxing glove and the knives together to make Wolverine claws. Like, it was just the most fun to do things like that. And the co-op was also a ton of fun. That's something that I hope they bring back for these games. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Steve. Them bringing in a new voice actor for Frank, that isn't by mistake. Like that. Yeah. That isn't just them saying like, oh, like we wanted to just try something new here. It's very much because they want like a new voice in there. They want to kind of modernize it. They want to introduce it to a new audience. And because I assume we're going to get like a proper mainline Dead Rising, whether again, it's like a remake officially of the first game or just a reimagining or just a new Dead Rising, right? With Frank West. And yeah, with the technology we got now on the PS5, the Series X, the amount of zombies that could be on our screen, I'm very excited for that. I hope that ends up coming true. But for now, I am looking forward to the remaster. I can't lie.
Yeah, I think Capcom is they're not dumb. They know what they're doing when it comes to these remakes and remasters. I said it before, I think on Twitter, I think honestly Capcom is probably the best company or the best studio or the publisher when it comes to remakes and remasters over the past several years. I mean, just look at literally just the Resident Evil franchise, and you can tell that no matter what, every remake that they do, it's always in contention to be the game of the year. And it's always brings up the arguments of do these deserve to be kind of talked about as game of the year, but because they were game of the year when they originally came out, and so. The fact that Capcom is doing this now with this remake, which they kind of are still conflating they're making it's confusing whether it's remake or remaster. I don't care. It looks good for what they showed already, and I can't wait to play it. And I can totally tell that this is sort of Capcom's way to sort of test the waters to be like, maybe a new entry into the Dead Rising series might be a good idea, but let's remake the original one and see what happens. And see what people like about it, and then maybe that'll spring us into sales that we can be able to actually go into full production on a new one.
Yeah.
Well,
to your point. Just to your point, Steve, I think going back to it, like Capcom is really great with its remakes, all because they go in with a lot of intent. It's not just, hey, we want to go and remake this one game, do it as a one-off, and then just kind of write off the series.
Cash,
it's always, exactly. It's not a cash grab. It's always, hey, we want to do a Resident Evil remake because we're gonna remake them all. So
exactly.
I will say Capcom is like one company that I think is also really in tune with the community. So it's not like everyone says they want it and then no one buys it, but they actively listen and kind of give the community what they want and what they need.
Yeah. Did this one? I never played the original, but did it this have online or anything like that? Because it seems like this an online or you mentioned a co-op mode.
Thought I remembered
online thing with friends.
I thought I remember
some zombies.
Yeah, I
thought that there was one that was like
DLC or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know for sure it was full-fledged with Dead Rising 2, but I can't fully remember there being something like that with the first game.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that though.
Like if there is, or if they hopefully, I know they didn't show everything. It's running in 4K, 60 frames as well. They're even adding in different music as well and so many different languages. So there might be a little different modes on there. I see they also added in the new skin for Frank, the second Dead Rising 2 skin as well. So
yeah, they're also adding autosave, which is a huge deal for Dead Rising. It needed it. So I'm glad that they're adding that as quality of life.
Just a clarification, I just looked it up. Dead Rising 1 did not have co-op.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it'd be nice. There's enough zombies to.
The thing was, in Dead Rising 2, it wasn't like there was a secondary protagonist or anything. If you did co-op, it was literally just two of the same guy. So if they and I don't think anybody cared back then, so I don't know if they will now. If you just did that same sort of thing, just two Frank Wests running through this mall killing zombies together. Could be a lot of fun, but I don't know. It's not like I'm not dying for it or itching for it, but that was for me definitely one of the more fun aspects of Dead Rising 2.
Yeah. So that was great to see and everything. And now so the next part that Capcom did, I think they want to see people are paying attention because the next thing they did was they showed you a lovely phone of Resident Evil 7 coming to iOS. They want to see if you're paying attention, and they want to see if people just sign them off and everything. They're talking about how Resident Evil 7 is coming to iOS, and that's my cat. And then I was like, all right. And then you want to pay attention, if people are paying attention, iOS, Resident Evil 7, that's good. I'm really happy. But there's a reason why. Because after that, they're like, hey, it's been really difficult to figure out what to do after Resident Evil 7, said Nakishi, or Koshi Nakishi, basically who's the lead developer of Resident Evil 7. But I found it, and I'm honestly really excited to see what is going to be in the next installment. Resident Evil 9.
They're gonna make another Resident Evil
9?
No way!
But it's not a remake. Well,
I had no idea.
You thought it was just. You thought we were done?
I didn't think
Thought
we were continuing
finishing?
that story that
I
left off
mean-
with a big cliffhanger.
This sounds like one of us lost one of our bets. Like really, like
This is a guarantee.
this is a guarantee.
Yeah.
This is like
Oh,
tell
yeah.
me another like baseball season's gonna start next year. Like, obviously.
Seriously.
I think I mean, it was it's inevitable that Resident Evil 9 or whatever it's going to be, it was going to come out at any given point. I do like that. I think it's Nakanishi. Like he was the director of 7. So, so I like that. Apparently he has he said he has an idea of what he wants to do with that. I was like kind of thought of an idea. It's like this will work. I'm like, oh, okay. The only thing I hope for. 7 was always too creepy for me.
Oh, that's what I love about it.
it wasn't creepy
I
enough.
don't want it to be as creepy. I don't want it to
No,
be
it
that
needs to be
super creepy.
creepier.
No, you got to creep it up.
no,
You got to bump up that
that-
creep factor.
I
Honestly,
found the demo
just that-
was
just-
scarier
just-
than the
just-
game. I'm
The
saying.
freaking grandma. I don't need that grandma in my life.
I don't
Okay.
even know
Oh,
if it
the
was
wheelchair.
grandma.
No,
no,
she's
no.
following you.
Yeah, yeah.
She's following
No,
you
I don't need
everywhere.
it.
You
No.
that. Yeah, you do.
What about
That's-
Spider Mommy?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, see, I don't.
Yeah. That's
mean,
what got me
gladly-
away.
I will
just
okay. Okay. Here's the thing. I think I can get you guys on board. Would you rather an entire game of another mommy dearest like Lady D throughout the entire game, or would you rather have more?
You're
of
trying to win us over, Steve.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah, that's
Ain't gonna work on
a
me.
cheap shot.
Yeah, wait a minute here.
Cheap shot.
Nice try,
I'm
though.
just
Nice
saying.
try.
I'm
That was
just
a valiant
saying.
effort. That was a valiant effort. Listen, okay,
Yeah.
of course, any more Lady D, I'll take it, but I do prefer 7 over 8. Not that I don't like Resident Evil 8. I still really love Resident Evil 8. But I much prefer just the more claustrophobic feel that you got out of Resident Evil 7 when you're just roaming through this house. So I'm glad that the same director from Resident Evil 7 is coming back for this next one, and that we're gonna up that creep factor. You know, that's what I'm down for. My favorite part, which is also my least favorite part of Resident Evil 8, is the dollhouse, which just so happens to be the most scariest part of the game.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm down. I'm down for more scares. That's always been what's so great about Resident Evil from its inception. And then I feel they started to veer off into this is an action game end, with Resident Evil 6. And now that they brought it back with 7 and 8, it's been better than it's ever been, right? We love Resident Evil now more than ever, which is awesome. And I'm just really looking forward to another mainline entry to see where they're going to push the story further. How many limbs is Ethan going to lose that he'll just magically pop back on? That's what I'm here for.
Do we really need another game with Ethan?
I think they've already confirmed we're not getting an Ethan.
It's probably going to be his daughter.
It might be
right?
Let's say Rose. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rose.
It could be Rose.
Yeah,
for
There was an
sure.
idea that
She
came
was
up.
the DLC protagonist.
Yeah,
Right.
For,
yeah.
for RE8. Yeah.
I would love it if they have it Rose goes off to college and or university and that that a boarding house kind of
monitor there.
school situation.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. I would love to see that.
And then there's a hot mommy there that turns into I don't know a
Hot
cockroach.
teacher. Hot teacher. There we go.
Yeah.
Hot
And-
teacher.
and-
Oh,
yeah.
best of both worlds. How's that?
There we
How's
go.
that for you, Steve? There we go. We made it work. Okay.
But they are talking
The thing
about.
I'm really curious.
Take it to
Sorry,
Capcom.
Marcel, please.
No,
Yeah.
no, I was just gonna say that they were talking about because you mentioned going to school. There's gonna be some kind of open world element to the game as well.
right.
So maybe that could be
And-
it. But yeah,
And that's
Go ahead.
kind of what I was gonna kind of leap off of, is that this whole idea now that we're in a post Dragon's Dogma 2 world where they've used the RE engine to do this emergent events and stuff like that. I'm really curious to know how they do that for a Resident Evil if they choose to do so, where you're in a creepy area, like an open world, even semi-open world, and you just have zombies popping up randomly or do random interactions and stuff like that, so that if I'm playing through it, it's totally different than your whole
Right.
playthrough, Caboose, to Steve's and stuff like that. I think that's awesome because that's exactly what Dragon's Dogma did. It's hey, I'm going out into this world, I'm experiencing just random encounters from enemies and stuff like that, and the world's reactive to you. And I think that has so much great opportunities for a spooky game like Resident Evil. It keeps you on your
I
toes,
totally
so that
agree.
one playthrough
I
is
totally
totally
agree.
different from another.
But I don't know. I've always kind of appreciated the fact of, at least with Resident Evil, is how claustrophobic you feel. in how small the areas are. Like even with because I think that a lot of people sort of complained about Resident Evil 3 was that it didn't have that kind of feel to it because you were a little bit more exploring a little bit of Umbrella City. I can't talk today. But I think like when you have like with you're at the police department, you're in the mansion or you're in the like you're in the house in 7, like even in the castle with Lady D. Like I think that's where Resident Evil becomes like Resident Evil to me, is how claustrophobic, because it totally adds to the atmosphere of like you can't get out, like it is hard, like it is like and everything is like coming after you and you have no way out. And I feel that with an open world, it kind of it doesn't really have that claustrophobic feeling unless the open world is kind of like they can be able to make it claustrophobic. But to me, that I always felt that was what helped make Resident Evil more creepier to me. And I hope they go like, at least if they're doing something open world, I would love to see them like still try to figure out the way to be able to keep that claustrophobic feel.
I'm totally with you. I used open world very lightly, of like even Resident Evil 4 where you're going from like hub area to the next hub area, stuff like that. But I think at its core, utilizing those emergent events, even if it's in a mansion and you're dealing with a zombie like busting through a window, I hope it's kind of like my experience totally different, so that even if I'm playing New Game Plus or I'm playing like another playthrough, I don't know what's happening. I want that kind of experience. That to me would be the next evolution of what Resident Evil could be.
Yeah, not only that, because it's interesting with Resident Evil, you're never really in a world where you are with other people. You're always dealing with zombies or being chased by some other like biohazard creatures and everything. But you're never in a hub of like, okay, now you're in school and like you could interact with different people around you and everything. You're always being chased by something, or it's just you're just in this little hub, like safe zone area. So maybe like the whole open world could be like if it is Rose, for example, you're dealing with classmates or a hot teacher if you wanted to as well. So. But yeah, so that was a nice little nugget there they put there. Who knows when that's coming up, because there's also a rumor of Resident Evil 5 being remake, of course.
It's gonna happen.
So, and then if there's any Resident Evil that should fix, it's 6. Let's be honest here, but
that's the one where if they ever remake 6, like they got a lot of work to do.
That's a 5-year project right there.
Yeah. I mean, 5's in rough shape too. Let's not.
That's pretty bad as well.
But they've had a little
punches on that
longer
one.
with 5 lately, so yeah.
As long as they have punching boulder, don't take that.
That's all I need.
That's all we need. More, in fact, punch 2 boulders this time.
Yes.
So more boulders.
Boulder punch.
Up next, we got Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi is going to be on a larger scale open world. Talk about more open world games. Open world online game. Of course it is. There's rumors of Crazy Taxi is going to be coming up. I thought they're just going to remake this game. That's what I want, really.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be open world, because I remember in the trailer they had like multiple cars. So maybe if it's like your standard
are they live
game,
servicing Crazy Taxi?
Absolutely.
I think it might be free. It might be a free game.
Oh yeah, that's the whole live service thing, right? You play and spend your money on different taxis.
Yeah.
The trails of smoke.
Yeah. Awesome.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I honestly think it's like that's a good way to go about it, because that's kind of like, if you think about Crazy Taxi, it's like that's kind of having an open world, kind of like a GTA style. That's honestly a lot more like there's a lot like that's kind of the natural evolution of what Crazy Taxi could become.
I just don't know.
But we already got that. We got that back in Grand Theft Auto 3. I've played this game already. It was a side game in a much better game.
But I think they could, I don't know. I just thought that it's like when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like I don't know. I could go for it.
I think the open world aspect, again, does make sense for something like Crazy Taxi. It's just to have a big world that you're roaming around, to be picking up and dropping people off in those certain time frames. Like all that stuff is like that could be, you could definitely add to the fun of Crazy Taxi with that. I just think like if they're literally trying to live service this, which is just an assumption, they haven't said that's what they're doing. Yeah. Then I don't know if I'm on board, because I just don't know how that makes sense. But if we're just looking at this just face value, like, yeah, it's going to be kind of like an open world sort of thing. There's going to be a lot to explore. Then sure, why not? Right? Like, I I just want the fun music and the arcadey elements to it that made the original Crazy Taxi so much fun. And so enjoyable. If they can just bring that back, then do whatever the hell else you want to do.
Although I would be down for like a little battle mode where you're like, okay, if you don't make this amount of money and like everyone's going out like this, everyone has the same customers and you're colliding with people like a takedown mode, type of thing. I think that'd be pretty sick.
That could be fun.
If you're like, there's like
Crazy
20 on the
Taxi battle royale.
Exactly.
Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah, and then like if you didn't make the cut within a certain minute, you're eliminated, type of thing. But you're crashing in different people to take them out.
I mean, isn't that what Fortnite has kind of become this season?
Circle coming in, maybe, yeah.
Isn't that what Fortnite basically became this season? Was the meta? Was it was all vehicles?
Yeah, with all the cars. Yeah.
I'm like, it's already proven it works, so why not?
Yeah.
Happen. I'll play the hell out of that. So I'll play. I'll rent this. Make it happen, Sega. Make this game right now. Hurry up.
Go.
But yeah, no. I guess it's really neat to see that Crazy Taxi is coming back in some form. I did hear rumors that like we get the original and then there's like a new version of it, which is the open.
Yeah, see that I can get behind.
I like that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And up next we got Steve's game right here. Steve's game, Alan Wake 2 reveals the window for the Lake House DLC. Will be coming out around Halloween time. All these zombies and scary stuff in the summertime being announced. Like it's practically Halloween all year.
Summerween.
Like.
It's happening.
Summerween. Exactly.
Hell yeah.
So it'll be coming out later on in October, as it will be included with the physical edition, which is coming out around that time. So the Lake House DLC coming out. So anything you want to say about this, Steve?
No, I'm just genuinely excited for more Alan Wake content. I have still yet to play the latest batch of it because I've been so busy. Yeah. But that being said, I'm very excited for this one. Going back to the Lake House, I think is super exciting to me. And that being said, I mean, it almost feels like, so if this is going to be the last piece of DLC, which I think data leaks have already shown that they've only had like the two major ones. I'm very excited to see how this one kind of ties into the greater, Remedy cinematic universe.
An actual like expansion to Halloween 2, is there going to be kind of like Night Springs, where it's like hey, here's a fun little Elseworlds thing?
So I think, based on like everything we've heard about that, this is kind of like core story content.
Interesting.
Yeah. That, in my opinion, if they're going to follow suit with what Control's DLCs was that you got like a kind of a one-off, and then the other one was we're passing the baton over to the next thing, which was Alan Wake 2. So I have a feeling that this one's going to be like, okay, it's still set in, Alan Wake's universe and stuff like that, but this is going to set up a little tidbit for Control 2 or whatever Jesse's next adventure is going to be.
I was about to say,
and to me, that's really exciting.
Yeah, because the Lake House obviously is very much a big part of Alan Wake 1. And I would love to see if this ties into Control 2, because they teased at it in Alan Wake 2 with a few, like they had some very direct ties into Control with the FBC, and I can't wait. Like, it just, if it is that's what they're teasing towards and they're working towards that, I'm like, I would love to see what Control, like what the FBC has done with Lake House. Like,
I'm just happy to see like a game like Alan Wake just get the post-launch support, like a game that's no live service stuff, no it's not like here's an ongoing game. It's just, here's this really fun game that a lot of people love, that is a serious game of the year contender, and here's all this extra content after launch for you to enjoy. Here's a physical release, a collector's edition. This Night Springs DLC where you get to play as these other protagonists from their other games, which I thought was awesome. And then here's another DLC that they got coming on the way as well. That sort of stuff, I just love it, and I feel like it's something that's becoming increasingly like more rare when it comes to these sort of single player story driven games. At least I don't know if just I'm thinking particularly of my neck of the woods, but like, for instance, I covered Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was just kind of like a one and done. Even with Spider-Man 2, it's kind of up in the air as to whether or not we're going to be getting DLC for the game. Yeah, we've kind of gotten like post-launch support in terms of like a new game plus update and some suits, but like, long are the days or gone are the days, I feel, where a game comes out and it's like, also there's going to be story expansions post-launch. Even with God of War Ragnarok, it was totally out of left field. We were all fully expecting that game is kind of done, right? So I don't know. I'm just excited to be seeing that Alan Wake 2 is continuing to get that sort of support and getting these expansions to the lore and the story for people who are such big fans of not just Alan Wake, but a lot of these other games like Control or even like what they did with Night Springs to have the character from, what is it, Quantum Break is the game?
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Like, I really, really love that. I mean, I know people don't go crazy for Quantum Break, but still kind of cool for them to.
Hey, that was a
Not
good
enough
game.
people went crazy.
Yeah, that was a fantastic game. Because the next one is Control, right? Control 2 is the next one.
Is that the expectation?
So they have Control 2, and then they have the Control multiplayer game. I don't know which one will end up coming out first.
Yeah, because I remember them hearing about they canceled the game just recently, and I wasn't sure if that was the Control multiplayer, but it seems like I think that's still going on, and they've been working on that I think since I'm trying to I think probably since Alan Wake 2 was announced. I think was something that they were.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute, yeah. So I'm probably willing to bet if timeline wise, if they it just depends. I think when because we have never heard that any news that they were working on a Control 2. Like there's not been any actual confirmation of that at all.
We assumed, or
I think we just assumed, yeah. I think because based off of the the multiplayer and stuff like that, and I think it was just rumors.
Sorry, Remedy has confirmed.
Oh, they did confirm that? Oh, okay. And I apologize.
Oh yeah, long ago they did kind of lay out like all their plans. There was like the Control multiplayer game, and then they said,
right. You're right. Yeah.
Codename Heron is Control 2.
Okay.
So maybe in this DLC it might connect it to like how the Control DLC connected Alan Wake in a way. So
when did they announce that, Steve? Did it say?
I just have a blog post in front of me. I don't have a date on it.
I'm just wondering, like when that blog post was posted.
Oh,
they said they confirmed it back in 2021.
2021. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's been a couple years. I'd like to see what they got going on next.
They also have that secondary team doing the Max Payne remakes.
I want to ask, where's Max Payne?
Remedy, he's working right now.
Yeah. That one,
You're giving Insomniac the business for busiest developer out there.
Sam Lake's around sipping cups when all these games being made. What's going on?
I will say, I don't know if the people at home could hear it, but Steve, your cat has a lot of input today.
Literally caster number 6 today.
Needs to provide her thoughts on the Alan Wake DLC.
Oh yeah,
Hey, they're excited. They're excited for it. It's all good.
huge fan.
Huge fan of it. Honestly, that's pretty much all I got, you guys. I don't know what else you guys want to mention. Anything else or anything?
I'm still just Destiny 2 Final Shape nonstop. Like I cannot stop. It's a sickness. I have put in so many hours since it launched.
Can we talk about that like fully? Because I've been dying to talk about this.
I've just been. Have you run the raid yet? Have you?
I haven't. So I haven't run the raid and I haven't run the last mission as of yet. But I have completed the entire campaign in Legendary.
The only thing that I will say I have a big problem with right now is the servers are just shot for this game lately. Like sometimes
it has been
load in. Sometimes my guns don't. God forbid I'm playing Crucible and I switch my weapon. It just I'm holding an invisible gun for the rest of the game.
No!
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
It's been pretty rough. It's been pretty rough. Even like when I play like Trials, like when the game starts in Trials, you'll see the 3 enemies you're playing against and what they have equipped. Sometimes that just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I'm just on a black screen until the game starts. Yeah. So the servers have been shot, and if you do that 12-man mission, good luck seeing all 12 people that you're playing with on screen.
Yeah.
No, so it's not going to happen. It's not.
I've been trying to be able to get. So my buddy and I, we've been playing this since like 2018, and so but since they started introducing the legendary legendary campaign. We've basically been doing that since Witch Queen, and we decided that because there was a lot of people that helped us play throughout the entire since 2018, we're going to try to get every single person who has helped us in either a raid or legendary campaign, and all 12 of us kind of jump into that mission.
Cool idea.
Yeah, so we're waiting to kind of hold off. And we can do that
Grandmaster version of it where it's like super difficult, like crazy, like it's
sure, that'd be interesting. Oh my
I'd hop in if you need a body, I'll hop in and help.
Okay, I'll let you know. But I honestly think that at least as far as the campaign, it's the best campaign that they've done
easily.
since, I think, Forsaken.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it is. It is so well designed in how, like, I love that it's linear. So it's not a lot of, like, sometimes it's Destiny campaigns. They're like, go do this thing and then go back to the tower to do this thing, or go back to this area. And
there's a little bit of that, but it's mostly a straight line.
It honestly, like, the whole campaign is like you're moving forward, like you're moving towards the center of the traveler, and you can see it on the map as you go. Like that is
even to the point where I remember when I first did my legendary campaign run, when I went to the tower, it was like, we recommend you beat the story before you do anything here.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like they're really serious about this, you know?
Yeah. And the way that also they designed the encounters and even the boss fights were challenging, but they weren't like too challenging like they did with like Lightfall. It was kind of nerve-wracking at some points when you're trying to be able to especially with Legendary, because the difference between like going through the campaign regularly or through with Legendary is that Legendary, you're given revive tokens. Each person is given a revive token. And if you reuse your revive token, that's it. Like you can't revive again. And if your entire party doesn't have any more and one of them dies, you have 30 seconds basically, and that to get out. Otherwise, you're like, the entire party's dead and you have to start that whole thing over again. I will say that last boss battle, like when you're actually fighting the witness,
oh my god, it's so tough. It's way more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Like I was running the campaign by myself, and then that last mission, I was like, okay, let me just like LFG some dudes. Yeah. And then I was like, no, like this just isn't working. Like you have to have communication in order to do it, or you have to be like crazy over leveled. So yeah, that last mission was honestly seriously difficult to get through, which I personally love, and I totally agree with you. It's the best campaign I think we've ever gotten for Destiny 2, mainly because as somebody who has played this game for 10 years, as somebody who back in 2014 was playing the beta with Jake Baldino way back when before he did his old game ranks thing, me and him just running through like, what is this Destiny game? We're just hyped because it's Bungie. They did Halo. What's their next project? It's the only reason I'm invested. And like this campaign it provided for me a lot of like reflection of those 10 years. Yes. And the fact that, I didn't cover this game, but man, this game really has meant a lot to me and has taken up a chunk of my life. And this was like this story. It was the Avengers Endgame of like, here's all this 10 years of storytelling coming to a head. These pyramid ships we were shown in the post-credit scene of Destiny 2 when it first launched. These enemies that were concept art for Destiny 1, when we thought like, okay, well, when are we ever going to get the darkness? What's going to happen with the darkness? Like it all happened, and it happened the way I think it exceeded a lot of people's expectations. I did run through the raid, Steve. Even that thing is insanity. I've heard there's some encounters and there's some mechanics where I'm like, just help me. I don't know what to do. Like there's still so much learning I have to do, which I think is awesome. A lot of great puzzles, a lot of difficult bosses. It's not just a walk in the park. It's not one of those things where on weekly reset, you grab your fire team, you jump in and just mess around for 2 hours to get the raid done. It's like, no, like everyone's got to focus up every single week. Yeah. To go
I think the last time they had a raid like that where it was kind of like you just jump in whenever was probably like Deep Stone Crypt. Deep Stone, I think was tough, but I think that was one of those things where people like once you get everything, like you could basically figure it out pretty after about 2 or 3 tries. Because I was like that was the only raid that I actually went and got the title for. Oh, nice! And I basically like you have to do everything in that raid in order to be able to get a title. But that's probably one of my proudest moments. But I agree with you. Like it just the way that they were nostalgic for, like, they had a lot of nostalgia for those who've been playing for a long time, but it very much was kind of like that Avengers Endgame moment, because it's the first time we ever got to play and even get to see the Vanguard basically go along with this story with you, and and you're helping them, but you're also seeing a little bit more about how Cade, Zavala, and Ikora are who like that's why they're the fire team that we want.
I love too that Cade isn't like he isn't brought back as just like a gimmick. It isn't like, because I'll be honest, I was one of those people when they killed Cade. I was like, this is just a gimmick, man. They're gonna bring him back in like a season. This is all it's all for just the shock value, right? But no, like they really stuck to their guns, which I do respect. And even when they brought him back here, it wasn't one of those like just to have fun with it. It wasn't those like he's back now. It's like, no, like they treated it with such care, and there's a lot of heart.
And they evolved his character too.
And I think they pushed him further, and they gave him a really good character arc through the entirety of the story as well.
Yeah,
guys, don't make me spend more money on Destiny.
I'm telling you,
it's good. It's good. This is the best it's ever been. And
I still remember sitting there with my PS4 when the first game came out, just waiting for the servers to like actually open so I could play.
Yeah. And I will say
so
too,
many memories of each expansion, just sitting there waiting for the service to work.
Yeah.
Oh, same. Yeah, I think probably the worst.
And if you got in,
Shadowkeep was probably the worst because that like took like 8 hours for anybody to get in. But
brutal.
This one was rough too. But I will say also too. I mean, shout out to Keith David who took on the role of Zavala over for Lance Reddick, and like he nailed it. Like
he did a really good job.
He didn't try to be able to do a Lance impression. He did his own thing, but it worked with Zavala and everything that like it felt like that, he had like, and this is no shade to Lance at all, but he felt like that he had been voicing that character for years. And to see him in this, I was like, and there's a really good like storyline beat with Zavala in this one that I was just like I was scared for Zavala for a moment. I'm like, oh no. It is so good.
The way too that they just keep going, like there's a bunch of really cool exotic quests now in the game. Like you can get I will say the quest for Kvostov is very tedious, but there's this like dual destiny mission where you can get like your exotic class item for your characters. Super fun and interactive depending on like what sort of subclass you're using going into the mission, whether you're light or dark. It's awesome. It's awesome. Like this again, is the best that Destiny's ever been. I'm seeing some people complaining online over the newest season they just launched, but for me it's like I don't really care. They can have a subpar season after that, man. Like they deserve, if anything, to just not do anything for the game for a full year until whatever they got planned next.
Yeah, this year is like this is their epilogue. Like this is like we're gonna see the aftermath of everything. We're just chill. Like I would, if they even come back with like, okay, we're gonna take an entire year of just Guardian games. I'm like, sure, why not? Because I think they deserve it.
They've earned it, like they delivered on such a really awesome expansion that again is 10 years in the making. So they absolutely deserve to be like, okay, we're going to slow things down a little bit until we get to the next big expansion. They're teasing Destiny 2 Frontiers next year, which I imagine we're leaving the solar system. Finally, we're going to go out into the cosmos. Maybe who knows what sort of secrets lie there, because the Witness, although he was kind of teased as the Thanos of Destiny, he's just one of many, right? Like there's always going to be another big bad that we got to work towards taking down. So I'm excited to see where they're going to go in the future.
Do you think Frontiers
is on a random tangent? But, I love.
Do you think that Frontiers is going to be still Destiny 2, or are we talking Destiny 3?
I think because of the way that they showcased it in that little video of the future for Destiny, saying that it was D2 Frontiers, is that I think it still will be
okay. I didn't know that they mentioned, because I haven't watched that video
with 2 and then Frontiers. So that's all that they've teased. But the way that I think the video in the background kind of made it seem as though like, okay, we're going out to another solar system. So that should be interesting. But I do feel like Destiny 3 is an inevitability. It's just that I don't think they're going to do like what they did with Destiny 2, where it's like we're starting fresh. Like I feel like it's basically going to be another expansion, but they're calling it Destiny 3. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I think they still need it. I think that because they've been working on like a 10-plus-year-old engine at this point. Like I'm willing to bet that probably the devs there have been like, we need a new engine now. So
I mean, again, look at the servers as an example of how rough things are getting right now. People not even loading in. So yes, it is time for them to move to a new engine. It's time for them to like have some fresh tech going into Destiny. But again, Destiny 3 for sure, it's on the way. It's just I hope they don't do what they did with Destiny 2, where they erased all your progress from D1 and made you start from scratch, and then had to like rebuild that goodwill over the next 7 or so years through the entirety of Destiny. And to be fair, Destiny as a whole would have never gotten a Destiny 2. It's
True.
Activision that wanted it that way. But now, like, you can't just have it be Destiny 2 forever.
I know.
Right?
And a lot of people are sort of like debating whether it's like, is it Destiny 3 or are they just gonna, drop the number and just say it's Destiny now? I don't know.
That would be good. But yeah, so all in all, friggin' amazing expansion. I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Love that.
Who tried Fragpunk during Summer Game Fest?
Ooh, I haven't played that yet. That's the NetEase game, right?
Yeah, but did anyone try it during Summer Game? I know that you said they had it at Summer Game Fest, right? Or
no, they had Marvel Rivals at Summer Game Fest.
Oh, okay. I thought they had like a little. I thought they had like a little build there or something like that. But I must say, I played it this weekend. It's legit. It's a lot of fun.
Like, yeah,
really.
Yeah, it's
I'm so excited to hear that.
Yeah, it's really, really, really good.
All right.
They had a closed alpha over this weekend. It just ended yesterday, and they have different modes. Obviously, different scrimmages or team based modes. The cards don't come into play for that. I would love if they did come up with like a Mario Kart type of like team deathmatch where like if you shoot somewhere or maybe like a kill streak, you get a card to play, or maybe if you're losing, you get a card to like help you win. But the cards are only in play for like the 5v5, which is like a Valorant style. And like it's not like a one shot you're dead like type of Valorant where style of game. It does take a couple shots, or of course if it's a headshot, then like obviously you're dead for that part there. Cool. But it's really, really enjoyable. The remixes of the cards are so cool. They have this one card where like you literally get a turtle on your back, and like anyone shoots from behind, you're practically shooting the turtle instead. So you take no damage whatsoever. Or like just big head mode, or like obviously you can shoot someone in the leg.
I saw that in the trailer. Yeah.
So like, and that's the thing. Like I'm really because this is Unreal Engine 5. So a lot of the things that you see in a trailer, like the game looks like the trailer. It's really visually impressive. It's like the whole remixing stuff, and like you just take the HUD and slap it on someone else. It's really cool what they're doing there. There's also like ways of like you could flood like have a card that has like heavy rainfall, so it'll flood certain areas to slow down enemies so that they can't go to like they're like the A location or B location. You can add another location you want to. You can expand a location. You can add more like bombs in a way. They call them the converters. You can add some more if you wanted to, and each character has like their own abilities as well. And like each character is like very very unique as well. So highly recommend it whenever it comes out. Who knows when? It says 2025. The game like it was ready now. Honestly, the build I was playing, I was really impressed with it. So, yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
It's really really good. NetEase they're definitely killing it. So,
they're coming out swinging. Honestly, they're coming out swinging.
Like,
yeah, and Rivals is getting its beta this month and a couple weeks coming to console as well. They're gonna drop Venom and Adam Warlock in there too. Yeah, I'm very excited to play the game on console. I will say though, I feel like the marketing rollout for Marvel Rivals has just been weird. I personally feel, although this was probably out of NetEase's control specifically, I think it was a really bad idea to not out of the gate say that it was coming to consoles. To announce this game, say that it was only on PC at the time, and then put the game in people's hands with the closed alpha only on PC. There are so many people out there that checked out. There was a few videos I had made at the time for the game. They were like, I'd love to play this, but it's only on PC, so I guess I'm not going to. And yes, I'm sure there's plenty of people now that are very excited to hear that it is coming to console, but there's a lot of people who are like, it's coming to PC. Oh, well, I'm not going to pay attention to this game, and aren't looking up or finding out more information about it and don't know now that it's coming to console. There's still a little bit of time, I imagine, until it's official launch to really market it and put it out there in front of people's eyes. But it's been weird. Even, with the State of Play trailer, which, again, I understand that when you have a trailer exclusive to a certain event, you have to say that it's coming to just that platform. But I feel like there just wasn't enough of an announcement of like, hey, it's coming to Xbox and PlayStation. The beta is this month, which is going to be on both those consoles as well, So the market's been a little all over the place for me. I'm hoping that they start picking up the pieces and picking up the pace, because it has so much potential. So much potential.
It's so funny because that entire story, that it was my story and my journey with that game. When that first alpha came out, it was on PC exclusively. I was like, I played a game. I was like, I get it. not for me. I'm not a keyboard and mouse player. This
Yes.
is too much like an Overwatch clone for it to be on a PC for me. So I was like, okay, cool. I respect it, but I'm kind of out. And then, then by the time the PlayStation 5 trailer came out, I was like, oh, I thought this game was already out. I'm confused now. Like, what's going on here?
Yep.
And yeah, like the entire concept of that game had just
and
been
you're
so
tapped
foreign to
in,
me at
so
that point.
that's really
Yeah.
bad, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, it looks like I will say it is a lot of fun. I'm very interested to see what the console beta is going to be like, and just because I agree, I'm with you, Steve. I'm not a keyboard and mouse guy. You know, I cannot play keyboard and mouse. I just don't have the dexterity for it. I'd much prefer to have a controller in my hands. And granted, there was controller support on PC, but I'm getting destroyed by some of these PC gods. You know, these mouse and keyboard gods.
Yep.
So I'm very excited for a console beta to play against people that are much more my speed and see how that goes.
Well, that's just it. I want to give it like the old college try on console and then be like, okay, is this game for me or not? But I want it on console.
So I think the beta, if I'm not mistaken, 23rd. There you go, July 23rd, around the same time that Deadpool and Wolverine's coming out.
But not only that, though, a week before that, Concord's beta is coming out too. So
that's right. So many Overwatch clones.
Damn, man.
That's the thing that I'm like that I as much I want to jump into this game, I'm like, it's just another hero shooter, and I'm like, I don't need another one right now. There's too many. Like,
so I'm totally with you. It's just it's for me what really draws me in is the Marvel branding, obviously, but also
that's the one that I'm interested in. Like, honestly,
and they really honor the characters, which I think to be the most fun part about it. You know, for as much as like some characters are definitely like, oh, that's X, Y, and Z guy from Overwatch, it's still like, yeah, like if Spider-Man was in a hero shooter, this is how it should be. You know, he should have his crazy web swinging. He should have these like web zips, you know, tying you up, that sort of thing. Hulk should be like Diva, where he can transform into the Hulk, and when you remove all his health, he goes back into Bruce Banner mode. You know, like that. Yeah. That stuff just makes sense. It works so well for the characters. And I mean, that little snippet they showed of Venom's gameplay, it gave me like Marvel vs. Capcom vibes, which I am really hyped about. And I'm definitely more of like a tank player when I play these kinds of games. So he is a tank. That really works for me. I cannot wait for the beta just to try out Venom. And you know, I'm going to have to spend money on them. But the skins, the alternate looks, those sort of things, some of the ones that they had in that alpha looked really cool. And they were all from comic books. And each suit's too, like when there's a suit that comes from a specific comic book, it'll tell you. It comes from this issue first introduced.
Oh, there's so much,
which I love. Guardians did that same
lot of
thing,
lore in this game,
which is like, here's the issue that this exact costume is from. You know, and it's like you now have the power in your hands to go read that and go see the origins of that costume. I personally really love stuff like that. You know, respecting the art that this is all based on. Really, that means a lot to me as someone who is obviously a fan of the comic books.
And honestly, as like an Overwatch player, it'll just be a good change of pace because I need something different.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. From a lot of people who play Overwatch, I feel like this is something that it's going to be pretty big for them. You know, this is a new Overwatch, if you will.
Something to get excited for. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And you know, while there are characters that might as well be like clones of an Overwatch character, there is still a lot of other characters that are completely fresh and unique and not like something that you've seen before in the roster there. And who knows as well what like the main roster is going to look like by the time this game comes out. What kind of X-Men characters they can pull from, the Fantastic Four. The list goes on and on and on. Like there's a really deep roster of Marvel characters that they can pull from here and do some really fun stuff with. So I'm incredibly hyped for the future of the game. I just hope that they start figuring some things out on the marketing end to really pump this out and get some people hyped for it as well.
It's supposed to come out this year, or that's another 2025 game?
No release date, but I think with an alpha in May and a beta in July, I don't see a universe where this game's not coming out this year.
I would say like it sounds
it's pretty
like a fall,
polished, man.
Yeah, fall holiday release kind of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty polished from what I've
That's
played.
what I was feeling with Fragpunk. That game was like it's polished, but it was a closed alpha. But they said 2025 for that one. So
with the ones that we have going on right now, so we have Marvel Rivals, we have Fragpunk, and then we also have Concord.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think like if they're all like because all of them are supposed to be slated potentially for this year? Who do you think is
Concord
going to
is
win
in
out?
August, so as well.
Yeah. So, who do you think is going to win out? Win out this year as far as the hero shooter?
I know it sounds biased, but I honestly think it'll be Rivals.
I'm leaning towards Marvel Rivals too.
Marvel's taking that.
It's just that Marvel branding that's so big for it, you know, like and that's the thing that's the worst about Concord for me is just it just looks painfully generic. You know, it's trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's like
it should have been Guardians of the Galaxy.
It really maybe
should have been, but also as well, like a lot of the previews have already been are already out of Concord from those who've already played it, and they're like a lot of them are saying it has like for Caboose, like you and I, it has Destiny vibes.
So that's what I've heard too. And I also heard that I think Bungie has consulted on that as well. That's one of those. It's one of the multiplayer games where PlayStation was just borrowing their help for, and that is the only thing where I'm like, you know, my ears perked a little bit at hearing just that, because if there is one thing I will give Destiny is they have great stories, a lot of cool PvE content, but it is a damn good PvP shooter. Like it is one of the best feeling shooters. So if they're helping with Concord, I'm hyped for that.
Yeah. Same.
It is locked to pre-orders, right? It's not like a open beta, right?
No, yeah, I think so.
I think there's an open beta the weekend after.
There you go.
Oh, yes, I see.
Okay.
It. Yeah.
So there's two waves.
21st. Oh my god, that's right around Marvel time. What are they doing, man?
Right around Marvel time. I'm kind of inclined to say Concord, only for the base reason that, to your point, Caboose. Yeah, I mean they had Bungie come in, kind of overlook it and kind of make sure it's ready, or at least it has potential there.
Yeah,
but they also bought the studio. PlayStation saw something here at the base level when Firewalk Studio came out and they're like, hey, we're working on this online multiplayer game, blah blah blah. They're like, yeah, we'll buy them, like straight up. And this is stuff that PlayStation is now notorious for partnering with studios and buying studios that they believe in. They did the exact same with Helldivers, where they didn't buy them, but they backed them up and they were like, hey, we'll give you 8 years of runtime to make sure this game is good.
Yeah,
they're doing the exact same thing here with Firewalk. So
I just think that reveal rollout was so rough. Like a 5 or 6 minute CG trailer, which was then followed by gameplay. You know, it's like, why did I even need the CG trailer? You know what I mean? Like, just skip all that and get me to the gameplay. You know what I mean?
I understand from like a base concept of, hey, we're really trying to build this like weekly narrative thing where people are coming in. We want you to care about the characters. I understand like wanting to showcase that, but I totally agree. That game showed like so poorly. But again, it is a game that people need to get their hands on. They need to start feeling the sticks on this game. So I hope that by the time we get to the beta and then the open beta, it kind of proves itself of, hey, there's gameplay here to kind of warrant, weekly pop-ins, come in, care about these characters. But at the end of the day, it's all about getting your friends together, playing some awesome gameplay. Yeah. And I'm really hoping.
They're fighting a bit of an uphill battle, but again, the gameplay is king. So if it's really fun to play, and if you can see kind of the Bungie footprint in there somewhere, then I'm definitely interested.
Yeah. Early access is on July 12th to the 14th, and open beta weekend is the 18th to the 21st on PC and PS5 as well. So you and 4 friends can play. So
nice.
Man, when I thought we'd have time to beat games, they're like, no, here's a whole nother bag for you. It never ends. So Steve, what's going on with you in Elden Ring? How much more you got?
I'm at the tail end of it. I think I've got 2 major bosses left and like a handful of the lesser bosses, but I'm on the tail end. I'm feeling really good about it. Love this piece of DLC. Like this, for me, it has so much weight to it that it could have been Elden Ring 2, and I would have been totally fine with it. The other thing that I said earlier, I put it out on Twitter. Thank God that Miyazaki knows the importance of what a dungeon should be in a video game, because Nintendo has just long abandoned that entire concept in Zelda. But we're getting actual dungeons here in Elden Ring, and I'm all about it. But other than that, my backlog is just piling up. So hopefully I get around to start sweeping some stuff out of there.
Nice. Are you taking shots at Nintendo? They got ninjas, man. I'm just letting you know.
They only get one shot.
Joins.
If we don't see you here next week, we all know what happened. Yeah, Camille knows.
Your door.
What'd you say?
Yeah, Marvel's got their snipers. Nintendo's got ninjas.
Ninjas and everything. Yeah. Hey, that leaker gone. Never
Gone.
seen again.
True.
Just like that guy that was whistleblowing for Boeing. Just
Yeah.
I just love that. Like for them, it was like the call was from inside the house.
Oh my gosh, Sammy, you get some sleep?
No, I think I'm gonna try the freaking WoW Mists of Pandaria. They did a remix. It's like a limited time event, and that's like my favorite expansion. So I might dive into that, and then the new expansion actually comes out pretty soon. The War Within in August. So I like 4-hour games or like 3,000-hour games. There is no in between. It seems
in between 18 hours of driving.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
That's well. Best of luck with that. Steve Remastered. What's going on?
Right now I don't have anything as far as content wise, but as far as games wise, I'm just jumping into it's kind of slow right now, so I'm kind of jumping into a few games that I kind of miss a little bit, but also jumping in and seeing there's been some really good deals on Steam lately.
Yeah,
especially with Steam summer sale.
It's very dangerous.
I got Doom and Doom Eternal for $15.
Oh.
You're damn right. I'm jumping into that in anticipation for the Dark Ages.
I got for me, so far. I mean, I'm probably gonna go back in and look at some more, but I got Disco Elysium, I got Prey, and I got Coffee Talk for literally $23. The three of those.
Amazing.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's borderline illegal.
oh, I forgot to ask. Have you guys played the demo for the Altars yet?
No, I have it. I haven't tried it
Is
yet.
it out?
It's on my
The demo
list.
is.
Yeah.
The demo is right
is.
now, and it is.
Yeah.
It is good. I was surprised how much I actually kind of like it. It's sort of it's base building, but it's also resource gathering, but it's also obviously the you have your alternates and that you're kind of creating. I was very surprised by what I played so far of it, and it's I this is one I'm definitely gonna check out when it on full release. But anyway, I've also got a bunch of demos that they had right around Summer Game Fest that they announced. I've been trying to be able to jump into Fallen Aces, that sort of new 1920s noir cartoon, sort of first person sort of thing. I want to try that out. But so I'm basically just trying a whole bunch of games. I'm trying to find a game that I've never played before, but everyone's kind of loved, and I want to jump into a good long narrative and just stream a game. So if you guys have any suggestions, because I also just downloaded all 3 of the Dragon Age games because they had that bundle on Steam too for $10. I don't know if there's any games that you guys suggest that I should just jump into and just stream the whole way through. Let me know.
If you want something with intense color and lights, I don't know. Mullet Mad Jack. I had a lot of fun with that one.
I've never heard of that one.
Look at that one. It looks like an 80s cartoon brought to life, and it's like a roguelike first-person shooter, and it's
cool.
It's pure chaos. Mullet Mad.
Oh, Mullet Mad Jack. Oh, yes, I have heard of it. Yeah, I've seen that one played. That might be a little too much of.
That's why I say it might be too much for the light and
I saw it being played. I saw some folks playing it on Twitch, and I was like, it looks really cool. It looks like a lot of fun.
But it's really good. I would say.
Yeah.
Caboose, what's going on, man?
Yeah,
I saw a new character coming out for Mortal Kombat. I see.
Yeah, well, so we had Homelander drop already.
Yeah,
and then we got Takeda dropping. I think at some point this month. I'm not 100% sure, but then also another.
Was he a part of that? He wasn't in the trailer. It was actually a surprise. It's
the last little bit, right? I think of the full pack.
Takeda was in the Combat Pack reveal. He was in the Combat Pack reveal, and he is the last character up for the Combat Pack. Ed Boon has teased that it's the last character for Combat Pack 1. So I think he's very much inferring there is going to be a Combat Pack 2, which I think we all could have guessed. They're also saying that they want to support MK1 longer than they've supported any of their titles, which they kind of say every time a new one comes out, but we'll see if they really stick to it this time and they really they go all out, and this ends up being one of those. They're live servicing the hell out of MK1, so I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being one of those games that just keeps going. It just depends on if they're making the money to do so. But my heart still wants an Injustice 3. So Ed Boon, please.
That's why it's called MK1, because the
That's
only
it.
one you need.
That's it.
Yeah, true.
But other than that, like I'm still playing Destiny, and I'm playing the hell out of Doom. I'm really loving Doom so far. I'm gonna run through the Doom 20. Can't remember when it came out, and then I'm gonna jump into Doom Eternal 2016. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And then I'm gonna jump into Doom Eternal because that Doom the Dark Ages trailer from the Xbox Showcase just got me so amped that like I need to play through these games and get all caught up on what's going on here.
Oh yeah. For me, I finished Still Weeks to Deep. Fantastic game. Definitely check it out. If you have Game Pass, play it on PC or on Xbox. It's not that long of a game, 4 to 6 hours, and I'm honestly trying to catch up to my not only backlog, but I even have a demos backlog as well. So it's pretty crazy out there.
Nice.
But yeah, and that's pretty much it. We'll see you here next week. Take care, everyone.